Everyone has that one hyperfixation that just drops into their life, and after a while, they end up knowing way more about it than they ever thought they would. I'm naturally a guy that's fallen into plenty of niche hyperfixations, but there's one for me that really stands out. One that's been a comfort in some way, somehow helped shape me into the person I am today. That is BanG. I first got into BanG on pure accident. I was getting into Guitar Hero and I wanted similar rhythm games to play. I searched on the App Store and BanG Girls Band Party was one of the few results that gameplay-wise looked like what I was searching for. Almost 6 years later, here we are. That was only a couple weeks after the mobile game initially launched worldwide back in April of 2018. I've had the perspective of seeing BanG first get localized and watch it morph into what it is today. So with this video, get comfortable, because this is the only BanG video you'll ever need. BanG or BanG or Bandori or Bandori, whatever you want really, is a Japanese music multimedia franchise that dates all the way back to January 2015. The premise revolves around girl bands, not to be confused with any idol franchises that are like it. A key component of BanG is the fact that the girls are in bands and dives deeper into that than any other similar multimedia franchises do. It started as a manga, but has since blossomed into anime, music releases, live concerts, and a rhythm/gacha game. Now, if you're wondering how one manga can go from point A to point B, then let me enlighten you on the history of BanG. And this isn't just some bullshit bulleted list, it's a chronicling of BanG's rise to power! Before BanG, there was Love Live, a multimedia project from Sunrise and ASCII Media Works featuring school idols. Love Live's School Idol project launched in 2010 and has continued to be a popular idol franchise. It's successfully produced multiple anime, manga, live shows, games, and whole idol groups. The mobile games were handled in part by Bushiroad, who wanted to capitalize off of Love Live's success themselves. Enter Takaaki Kidani, Bushiroad's founder, president, and CEO. He conceptualized a new music project in March of 2014, and that is how BanG was initially conceived. And because I know you were wondering, the name stems from the idea of shooting towards one's dreams. A staff member had gone to an Idolmaster live show and became particularly interested in one of the guitarists, Aimee. Her ability to play guitar led to Kidani believing that in order for this project to succeed, the voice actresses needed to know how to play their instruments and play in live shows. That way, the project could stick out from other similar music projects. The idea was justifiably met with some skepticism. Noriyasu Agamatsu of Element Garden, who helps produce music for the BanG franchise, was concerned that it would be too much to balance when Kidani first approached him with the idea, although Agamatsu ended up actually joining the project anyway. The ability to play an instrument wasn't required for voice actresses that would hop on the project, but they were dedicated to practicing several hours a day. Eventually, BanG's first public thing would release in January of 2015, the manga BanG Starbeat. Also known as Banadori, it featured 12 chapters that ran from January to December and was written by Ko Nakamura, credited as the writer of BanG's original story and someone who would continue to have a major influence in story and song lyrics for Bandori. It follows the story of a shy girl who can't sing or express herself in any way after being bullied for singing her favorite song, and her journey of meeting new friends, making music, and pursuing her dreams by forming the band Poppin' Party. This story was retconned entirely. There was also a light novel in 2016, but yeah, in that year, this story was done away with. In the meantime, the first ever single for the franchise dropped in February. Yes, BanG. It's called Yes BanG. Accompanied with a music video and new designs for Poppin' Party that would be their look going forward. In April, there was also the first in-character live the voice actors performed, with a style of performance that took heavy influence from contemporary bands like Silent Siren with their positive, light-hearted energy. BanG was finally getting something going with all this and some other single releases, but it struggled to garner further fan support. Bushiroad needed something that would be the spark for the project or risk it fading into obscurity. They placed their bets on the anime that aired during the 2017 winter season. This was pretty much a reboot for Poppin' Party and its members, forging the identity that they would have going forward. The hope was that this anime would be the franchise's big break. It was not. The anime got, at best, okay reviews. The story was decent, but it was dragged down by its animation, which was ugly. It was ugly. There were positives with how its characters were handled at points, but it wasn't the smash success that Bushiroad was hoping for. What was the big hit for the franchise, though, was the mobile rhythm/gacha game that launched in March of 2017, BanG Dream Girls Band Party. We'll get to this later, but the game saw success from the start, mainly because it offered a wealth of popular covers to play. That got people interested early on, and from there, Bushiroad was able to cultivate a fanbase that led BanG Dream to the place it is today. But you can't have what BanG Dream is without its bands. Girls Band Party established 5 bands for the franchise with variety in both sound and character. Heads up, this is going to be a rundown on everybody, so buckle up. Poppin' Party, otherwise known as Poppypaw. The first one. They're a group that's forged on the whims of Kasumi, who's devoted herself to searching for what she calls the star beat. She's the polar opposite of how she was in the original manga, now much more happy-go-lucky and effectively the face of the franchise. Poppypaw was formed pretty much by Kasumi just pointing at someone and egging them on to join her. Tai may be somewhat aloof, but she's got a good head on her shoulders despite keeping to herself, and she has a huge passion for guitar. And rabbits, she loves rabbits. Rimi's the shy, quiet one with a lot of love for her older sister and her bandmates, but there's also a surprising amount of confidence from her every now and then. Sai is the band mom, remarkably more mature and has a gentleness that she uses to help out her friends and her family. Her family also owns a bakery, so when emotional support isn't on the table, well, she's always got bread to go around. Ari says as tsundere as they come. Before Poppypaw, she closed herself off, insisting that she's fine on her own, but band life's helped her open up. Poppypaw is a group that lives and dies by Kasumi's energy and the friendships that they formed. At the end of the day, they're just a band that practices in Iris' basement and enjoying each other's company in the process. They don't have as much raw talent as some of the other bands, but they make up for it with their own charm. And because of that, every step toward their goals and general improvement feels like a victory. Their music reflects that, with each song having a happy, peppy sound to it. Poppypaw is all about reflecting the good feelings that Kasumi and friends found through each other. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but if you're looking for something happy, then you've come to the right place. Afterglow was formed by the bonds between 5 childhood friends. Heck, it was formed so that when one was assigned to a separate class from the others in middle school, they still had a reason to stay together. All of its members feel an unspoken intimacy with what they've been able to create. While it's a committee affair, the face of the band is Ran, who carries a whatever kind of attitude, but underneath that she does have a deep, passionate care for her friends. Mocha on the outside is essentially her polar opposite, with a goofier, more aloof personality, but it doesn't mean that she cares about those close to her any less. She also loves bread. That's a major part of her character. Hamare coordinates things for the band and brings a lively, dynamic attitude to the group. Even if it doesn't always match the others, it doesn't go unnoticed. Tomoe can be confused for someone that's hot-headed and kind of a punk, and even though that's not unfounded, she's a lot more relaxed than you'd initially think, and her maturity stands out among her friends. Sugami, despite taking a lot on her shoulders and having a tendency to get flustered, there is a modesty to her and a confidence that doesn't waver. Afterglow has a punk feel both in their music and their aesthetic, and their music is a byproduct of the bonds they have for each other. As a group, they continue to take every opportunity to deepen their bonds and improve themselves both as people and as a band. Pastel Palettes, or Pasupare, is the closest thing to a traditional idol group that Bandori has. It's made up of 5 girls of varying backgrounds and skill sets that have been able to congeal and find success. They're led by Aya, who's your archetypal hardworking girl that wants to be an idol more than anything. Her grit has been something that, despite her easily shakeable confidence, has endeared her to her bandmates and the fanbase that she's been able to find, even if nothing comes easy for her. Hina, on the other hand, does have almost everything come easy to her. She's a prodigy that just knows how to get a grasp of things. Despite this, there's an innocent nature to her that's evident in how she generally just loves having a good time, and she can make friends as easily as she can pick something up on a whim. Chisato has a lot more experience in the entertainment industry, and that ultimately led to impatience on her end in the beginning, but she ended up finding a way to lead by example, support her bandmates, and walk alongside them as they all continue to grow. Maya is someone that you can consider to be the most out of place, but she's the epitome of the lovable underdog. She may be awkward, but she's a passionate drummer, and she's been able to get accustomed to the whole idol thing and shine in her own way. Eve, originally a model, has a lot of enthusiasm and earnestness while having a noted childlike whimsicality to her. Pasapare's story reflects that of a typical idol group, and their music sounds very much like bubbly idol music with a girl band flair. They use the opportunity as idols to be an inspiration for their fans, and that's exemplified in their own journey to grow both themselves and their following. Rosalia is probably everyone's favorite. People that know something about BanG probably know about Rosalia. The band was forged by Yukina, who wants nothing more than to create powerful, compelling music and captivate people with her voice, and she formed Rosalia to further her ambitions. Sayo sees eye to eye with Yukina, and yes, she is Hina's twin sister, but the two couldn't be more different. She's a lot less playful and a lot more stuck up into herself. She has become more gentle as time passes, but her hardworking nature is still a bigger trait of hers as ever. Lisa is a lot more personable, especially compared to some of her other bandmates, but she had to start from virtually nothing to become a bassist worthy of playing with Yukina and Rosalia. Akko, despite being younger and more immature than all of them, is still a beast on the drums, inspired by her sister Tomoe, to the point where she unknowingly finds ways to surpass her older sister. Rinko is someone whose abilities are unsung by virtue of her being incredibly shy. She's an insanely talented pianist, and because of that, her ability doesn't need to be justified with words. Rosalia's lineup is chock full of talent, and they've been able to produce some incredible music as a result. Whenever a new Rosalia song drops, everyone goes, "Whoa, stop what you're doing. We got a new Rosalia banger." Their high-quality tracks and chemistry have made them a fan favorite, and it's wholly deserved. Hello Happy World is a wild card. Also known as Haruhapi, they like to do their own thing, mainly because their leader, Kokoro, is an unstoppable agent of wholesome chaos. She's driven by the sole desire to make people smile, and with her rich upbringing, she has the support to make it happen, and everyone just follows suit. There's Karu, someone who has a lot of fans both in-universe and for real because of her dramatic, over-the-top nature. She's a character and a lot of fun. Hagami has a lot of similar traits to Kokoro. She's very affectionate and sporty and always wants to bring people along for the ride. Haruhapi's other members are not as out there. Kanan is on the running for most shy and easy to fluster girl in the entire franchise, but through that there's a gentle kindness to her that wants to see people smile just like her bandmates. And then there's Misaki, who often hides her identity as Haruhapi's DJ, Michelle, a true Bandori icon. Underneath the suit though, Misaki's down to earth, and despite initially not wanting anything to do with all of Haruhapi's shenanigans, she's learned to love it, or at the very least stick around for Kanan's sanity. It's hard to describe Haruhapi's sound other than happy, high energy tracks, but believe me, if you listen to it, you'll know it's one of a kind stuff. Along with these bands, there's also From Argonavis, a boy band project that despite being initially associated with BanG, never saw any collaboration with Bandori, and as of 2022 have severed any connection with its parent project. Oh, and adjacent to all these bands, there's also Mukundai Mu-Type, a band comprised entirely of VTubers, and they exist. Oh my, what is this? In 2018, there were still some bands that didn't have a handle on performing instruments live, so a band called The Third was formed to provide backing instrumentals so some Bandori vocalists could perform. In March of that year, the decision was made to take the performers from The Third and form BanG sixth band, Raise a Swelin. Canonically, Raise a Swelin, or Ras, is the brainchild of its producer, Chutu. She's the first true antagonist the franchise sees, with the goal of producing the ultimate girl band with the ultimate music. She's an absolute gremlin, and because of her bratty nature, she's somewhat polarizing, but she plays her part well. The honor of Ras's frontwoman, however, goes to Layer, someone who's calm and collected on the outside, but her drive as a bassist burns deep. Likewise, Masking has a reputation of a stoic punk, only overshadowed by her reputation on the drums and her Mad Dog nickname, but she's incredibly enthusiastic and will do whatever she has to get the best out of herself and her bandmates. Then there's Locke, way shyer and more timid than any of her bandmates, but the moment she gets a guitar in her hands, she's a completely different person. And finally there's Pario, one of the youngest in the entire franchise and someone who's shrouded in mystery. That's code for she needs a hug. She's got loads of talent on the keyboard and does a lot to be there for those around her. And as loyal as she is, again, someone please give her a hug. Ras has an EDM vibe to them that stands out. It gives them a ton of energy to the point where their music becomes perfect workout music. There's a feeling of epicness with their sound that grabs you, shakes you, and yells at you to get your money up. Razor Sweetland wouldn't be the only new band that would drop around this time. In March of 2020, coincidentally before a worldwide event that, yes, did have impacts on some of Bang Dream's plans. If I remember correctly, I think it was the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, Bushiroad announced a 7th band, Morphonica. They're unique in that they're the only band in the franchise with a violin in their lineup. Like Ras, they're not led by their vocalist. Instead, they're led by their drummer, Tsukushi. She's a straight shooter with no shortage of confidence who does her best to be an upstanding person and has the will to get things done. In contrast, the vocalist, Mashiro, could use some self-confidence on her end, but she makes up for it with her vast imagination and despite keeping to herself, ultimately wants to bring people into her world. There's also Toko, who, in complete contrast to Mashiro, has no problem rallying people around her and flying by the seat of her pants. Nanami wanted to be in the band just to hop on the girl band trend as part of her quest to blend in and come across as normal. In reality, she's certainly abnormal, but there's a genius to her. Even if she wants to be seen as normal, her uniqueness shines regardless. And then you have the violin, Rui. She's polite but very dry. Part of it's a front, but she's pretty by the book by nature. She and Toko tend to butt heads because of how much they contrast with each other. But all these personalities contrast with each other in some way, and yet there's something excellent about each one of them that they're able to bring together to make Morphonica what it is. There's a fantastical feel to their sound. And it's not just because of the violin, which is straight fire by the way, but it's also because the music reflects the uniqueness of its members as individuals. Because of that, as a collective, they're able to form something greater. With all these bands to work with, Bang Dream really does put the media in multimedia with all the directions they've been able to go. Obviously, there's the music. Bandori music production has become a well-oiled machine. Akamatsu and his crew at Element Garden have been producing a quality and quantity of music for the franchise, capturing a wealth of sounds in the process. Likewise, you also have Ko Nakamura and a few others that provide lyrics that add flavor and personality to each band, and the meaning that they're meant to convey through their music. Now, if you wanted some more manga, then good news! The Betadori manga led to other mangas being published. Some of the major manga published include the titular manga that focuses on the Poppypaw story in more detail, which ran from 2016 to 2019, Rosalia's Stage, a Rosalia-focused manga that ran through 2017, and Raids, the story of my music, one that focused on Ras and ran from 2019 to 2022. There were also some smaller manga projects that have been churned out as well. Within Bang Dream, there is no shortage of anime projects. Going back earlier, season 1 of the main anime was Poppypaw's origin story, and it was so-so. However, that anime was produced by Isen and Zebek. Productions going forward would be handled primarily by Sanzigen, with 3D models and CG animation. Season 2 of the anime focused on Poppypaw organizing their first live event, and was also where Chutu and Ras were introduced, which served to cause conflict and growth for Poppypaw during a good portion of the season. While way more consistent, the new animation often looked stiff. The fluidity of the animation would get better with time as seen in Season 3. This season focused on the Girls Band Challenge, which allowed for space for all the bands to get more involved and see more development beyond Poppypaw, especially with Ras. Other anime releases include OVAs, including Morphonication, a 2-episode OVA focused on Morphonica's vacation together. There were also full-on movies. There's Poppin' Dream, where Poppypaw and the others go on an island vacation and play a show there, an episode of Rosalia, a 2-film series all about Rosalia trying to reach a new frontier. Yes, I said 2 feature films, now you probably know what I mean when I say everyone loves Rosalia. There are also chibi miniseries, first with Pastel Life and more prominently with Garupa Pico. a crackhead miniseries with 3 seasons consisting of 26 3-minute episodes each, with a bunch of chaos ranging from body switching, murder mystery, sentai, fishing, ace attorney, and actual death! Okay, say you don't want any anime, but still want BanG Dream goodness. Then might I suggest BanG TV, a 30-minute variety show hosted by Aimi and Aimi Maishima, the voice actresses for Kasumi and Aya, that's been running since April of 2018. It used to be broadcasted on Tokyo MX and Sun TV before going online only on the official Japanese YouTube channel, where it goes live every Thursday at 2100 Japan Standard Time. Among all of these projects, there was also room for a spin-off series, BanG Dream It's MyGO, a 13-episode series that gives us more time with BanG Dream's 8th band, MyGO. This isn't the first time that we've swapped spit with MyGO. They were announced in 2022 as a part of Bushiroad's initiative for Bandori to, quote, synchronize reality in the fictional universe. What does this mean? It's not exactly clear, but in practice, it meant that the identities of MyGo's voice actresses were hidden, only to be revealed during their 4th live, so they kinda just went against the whole shebang. That said, meet MyGO, a play on the Japanese word MyGo that translates to lost child, and all of its members represent being lost in some way. Tomori, the heart of the band, is an awkward girl that's always had trouble fitting in. The lyrics that she's wrote were a way to express herself and connect with the world. She's avidly supported by Taki, who's a bona fide loner but found meaning and motivation in her life as a result of Tomori's music and lyrics. But around everyone else, she's got a short temper and she's not afraid to butt heads with whoever. Tomori and Taki were originally in another band together alongside Soyo, someone who plays the older sister role but beneath the surface has a lot of baggage and blunt, jaded feelings. She's working to be honest about them though. The 2 other members don't have any previous affiliation with the former 3. Anon is someone who's very social and wanting to be popular, but she's slowly taking solace in not having to be in the spotlight. And Rana, who can shred, but she very often goes at her own tempo, often at the inconvenience of others. But she's really trying to find a place to fit in, which is what MyGo provides. The sense of belonging is something that all of MyGo's members want, and it's something that the band gives them. They all understand that while they're all lost, it's okay to be so. These themes are explored in a beautiful way in BanG Dream It's MyGo. This spin-off is not just the best stretch of the BanG Dream anime, it's just a genuinely fantastic show. Everything is put together in such a deliberate way that it allows intimacy to be developed with these characters, and through it, at least for me, MyGo became a band that I wanted to follow going forward. What this anime also provided is the unveiling of another band. The epilogue of the MyGo anime devotes itself to the debut of a new group, one that prides itself on a powerful sound with a grand spectacle. BanG Dream's 9th band, Mujica was also trying to do the whole synchronization thing that MyGo did, honestly in a much more metal way, but again ended up unveiling their voice actresses and characters in time. This band is a project formed by Sakiko, someone who was formerly in a band with Tomori, Taki, and Soyo, but ended up abandoning the band. She scouted Mujica's other members, established their identity, and engineered this band to succeed and dominate any competition. I know this sounds a lot like Choo-Choo and Rasp, but what you have to understand is Sakiko did this out of spite. As of now, the girls in Mujica have yet to really do anything on their own, aside from being side characters in MyGo's story, and they're still currently just a live-only band. But with an anime project on the horizon, they're bound to make a splash and interact with the rest of the cast in a major way. If you're keeping track at home, BanG Dream currently boasts a cast of 45 girls across their 9 bands. So it's no surprise that there's no shortage of ships, and by extension, no shortage of... There may not be a single ship that's outright canon, but if you just want to pick a ship that catches your eye, go for it. Except these two don't condone these ships. I touched on it a tad earlier, but one of BanG Dream's biggest draws undoubtedly has been their live shows, where the voice actresses will perform live shows in character. As of the end of 2023, there have been 12 major live events on top of several smaller shows. 6 of the bands currently perform live shows, those being Popipa, Rosilio, Rasp, Morphonica, MyGo, and Mujica. Regarding Afterglow, Pops Party, and How Happy, they haven't performed since their voice actresses still don't have a good enough knack for their instruments and thus haven't been given the green light to perform live. The lives have been a success because the bands bring a ton of energy in their shows. There's also animated movie lives, which, I mean, if you wanted the characters straight performing, then here you go. But the real lives are a testament to the franchise's ambition. These lives do more than just the bare minimum, but allow the voice actresses to thrive in this environment. Lives have been a pillar of BanG Dream. That and... Alright, I dodged this long enough, but let's talk about the mobile game. BanG Dream Girls Band Party is the series' official mobile rhythm gacha game developed by Craftegg and published by Bushiroad. It was released in March of 2017 in Japan, progressively releasing across Southeast Asia over the year and worldwide in April of 2018, as well as China in 2019, as well as a Nintendo Switch port in September of 2021 exclusively in Japan. Girls Band Party, or GARPA for short, is headlined by its live mode, the actual rhythm game with a Guitar Hero style highway where you tap, flick, and slide notes to whatever song you're playing. Difficulties range from easy, medium, hard, expert, and special, but if you really want a game, you're only going to care about the latter two. Experts to go to if you really want to sink your teeth in, as song levels range from 23 to 29, but special can spice things up and even has songs that are up to level 35. If you want an idea how the game flows, this is the opening for Sing Alive by Rosalia. This is a level 27 song. There are other elements like the gacha and the ability to structure your band however you please with a decent bit of stats to work with, but that's all too complicated. And I don't condone gambling. What GARPA also has for itself is the stories. There are three types: main stories, which serve to unite all the bands under one plot and bring them together; band stories, which are unique to each band and range from origin stories to trials and tribulations that serve to develop the bands and their bonds; and event stories, the most common ones as they run hand in hand with their respective events that last for a little over a week. You never know what you're gonna get with these. They can be band exclusive, or they can be a mix of characters into a unique story that serves to develop them as individuals. My favorite event is probably Umbrella for the Autumn Rain, where Sayo starts to lose confidence in her play, saying it starts to feel lifeless. The whole situation forces her to confront Hina in her own inferiority complex in a very emotional way. It allowed for the opportunity to show how intimately the Hikawa twins care for each other and the bond that they've been able to work so hard to cultivate, and it genuinely made me cry. Also, the cards for the event, particularly the untrained ones, show a lot of emotion and capture the themes of sorrow and sisterhood for this event really well. Oh my god, the cards! GARPA's cards are amazing. In every event, even some special occasions, cards will drop, and 3 through 5 cards have so much going on in them. They're always drawn in such detail, and they're able to capture so much within them. Every card, without fail, reflects the general wholesomeness that BanG Dream carries itself with. Most of the time. And here's the kicker: I've only been showing you untrained cards so far. Bam! GARPA's trained cards are beautiful! Through these cards, my previous sentiments are true, but bolstered even further with how much symbolism and color are packed into these cards. They're also paired with costumes from events that always end up looking great. And once again, they carry the spirit of what BanG Dream is all about. I said most of the time! Not to mention the Kirameki Festival cards, animated cards that are just the girls doing cute things, which you just can't get enough of that. And then there's the Dream Festival cards that have substantially more detail packed into them, and not one of them has ever missed! Ugh. BanG Dream has been doing its thing for almost a full decade at this point, yet it still continues to change for better and for worse. Heck, the first set of third years graduated this year. That was surreal. Just seeing these characters fans spent so much time with and having their moment in their respective graduations was beautiful, and the cards they dropped were filled with so much love for each and every one of them. As time continues to pass, the franchise continues to do renovations per se. There was a slight redesign of the Bandori style that, if you ask me, was off-putting at first, but it ended up being all good in time. Ami Mashima decided to retire for health reasons in November of 2022, but fortunately returned in September of 2023. Takaaki Kadani stepped down as the series' executive producer in March of 23, a major change to management of the franchise, even if he had already begun entrusting it to other developers in years prior. And possibly the biggest change, at the beginning of January of 2024, Craftegg stated that they will no longer be managing GARPA and relinquishing that responsibility to Bushiroad entirely. There's hope that Bushiroad will at best keep with the status quo, but concerned that at worst, issues will arise and Bushiroad runs the app and ultimately the entire franchise into the ground. I don't want to make any statement that will age poorly one way or the other. I'm obviously hoping for the best, but we'll see how things work out. If it's not blatantly obvious by this point, BanG Dream means a lot to me. I recognize its flaws for sure, but I've been following this franchise for so long, and that's because I've always loved the goodwill and wholesomeness that the series carries itself with. Whether it was the main anime, Garupa Pico, one of the many stories within Garupa, or just the music, the series never failed to make me feel happy. And looking back on everything BanG entails, it all comes back to the general theme of shooting for one's dreams. Ave Mujica wanting to succeed and dominate with their sound. MyGO wanting to navigate a world they all feel lost in together. Morphonica wanting to bring people into their world. Reza Swelen wanting to perform the ultimate music. Hello Happy World wanting to bring smiles across the globe. Pastel Palettes wanting to shine and be unique as a girl band and an idol group. Afterglow wanting to move forward together and be closer and closer. Rosalia wanting to reach the heights they know they can reach. And Poppin' Party wanting to search for the sound and feelings they adore together. Every band and every character has a dream that they want to see come true. This is the core of what BanG is and what makes it special. In the process of exploring what this has to offer, there's so much I left out about how the world itself is and character dynamics and all that, because I genuinely believe those things are worthwhile experiences to be had. BanG is about appreciating band life and the bonds that form as a result. There's gonna come the time where the franchise is long gone, but the emotions that spawn from them will last, and the fans the franchise made will move forward and dream on. You're still here? Huh. Well, thanks for watching this video. Obviously, it meant a lot for me to make it, and who knows, maybe there's an opportunity for us to revisit BanG someday.